How's it going, you guys? So in this video I'm going to try to explain the gut microbiome and probiotics and the research behind all of this in a much simpler and more summarized and easy to digest way, because I made the 40-minute video yesterday with timestamps going really in-depth and detailed on all of these things and why basically the gut microbiome is pseudoscience, I guess, at least the way that a lot of experts kind of talk about it. Please watch this entire video. I'm going to try to only make it 10 minutes because from the comments I got on my last video, it seems like either people didn't watch the main points of the video or they just didn't understand it for whatever reason. So it might have been my fault. It was a 40-minute video, but I did put timestamps. But it is complicated, and there's a lot of just nonsense out there that probably people are brainwashed by. So please watch this entire video, okay? So I got a comment from somebody asking me about kefir and saying that they're trying to heal a bacterial infection with kefir, okay, to restore their gut microbiome or whatever. And I also got a comment from one of my subscribers, longtime subscribers, by the way, who I appreciate very much because I know he's been watching or she, I think it's a he though, has been watching my videos for years now, so definitely appreciate my longtime subscribers. But this person basically is asking me about soil-based probiotics. Okay, now soil-based probiotics, they are unique because they produce spores that actually produce gut bacteria later on that can definitely establish residence in your intestine. So soil-based probiotics are great because even if the probiotics in the soil-based themselves do not take root in your intestine, the spores that they produce will. So soil-based probiotics can definitely boost your gut bacteria more effectively than, like, these other ones you find that require refrigeration to survive and things like that, just because of the mechanism from the spores. But this is the thing that they're missing here, and the thing that most people who are fascinated by the gut microbiome and probiotics don't understand. And this is really the main thing you need to know about probiotics, about the gut microbiome, and all these things in general. Okay. And I pretty much laid it out pretty flat, pretty good in this comment here. Gut microbes do not seem to cause health outcomes. Gut microbes are the result of diet, mood, and environmental factors, not necessarily the cause of health outcomes. Because basically, like I laid it out in my previous video that these comments are on, when you eat food, the food you're eating creates gut bacteria. Specifically, the plant foods you're eating, they are entirely digested by gut bacteria in your intestine, okay? And so when you eat broccoli, you create broccoli-eating gut bacteria. When you eat beans, gazambo beans or whatever, you create gazambo bean-eating bacteria. And so there's a correlation between these strains of bacteria in the food that you're eating, but there's also a correlation between these strains of gut bacteria and health outcomes. The problem is that people claim the gut bacteria is what's causing the health outcomes, but it's more likely that the food that you're eating is creating the health outcomes, or more specifically, people who eat broccoli and gazambo beans typically don't eat refined carbs and trans fats. And so that's why the gut bacteria that feeds on gazambo beans and broccoli is going to be correlated with better health outcomes. It's not the gut bacteria that's causing the health outcomes. It's the people who are eating these foods that are creating this so-called healthy gut bacteria These people live healthier lifestyles in general. And so they have better health outcomes because of that. Not because of the gut bacteria. The gut bacteria is just an intermediate between the health outcomes and the diet. But it's not the gut bacteria that's causing it. Correlation does not equal causation. This is healthy user bias. Please research that. Please look up healthy user bias and understand what that means. And understand unhealthy user bias as well. Okay, the same thing goes on with polyphenol research, the research behind red meat. Healthy user bias is probably what's causing this, okay? If you don't understand that, rewatch that point again. That is pretty much the main thing you need to know in its entirety, is that we don't have any causal evidence. We only have that correlation. So, again, gut microbes are the result of the food you're eating, or the food you're not eating. If you eat refined carbohydrates and you eat trans fats and these things, you will have gut bacteria associated with trans fats and refined carbs. But is it the gut bacteria that's causing the health outcomes, or is it the junk food that is creating that gut bacteria? Because the junk food, like refined sugar, is going to spike your insulin. It's going to create a lot more reactive oxygen species, which is what people call inflammation. Inflammation is not the cause of disease. Inflammation is a healing response. It's the reactive oxygen species, the oxidative damage that these junk foods cause, that is causing heart disease and a lot of dementia and mental illness and things like that. And obviously lack of nutrition and all the other things that are associated with people who eat a junk food diet. It's the unhealthy user bias. Unhealthy people get unhealthy results. And they just so happen to have this gut bacteria in the middle that's associated with bad health outcomes. But that gut bacteria is only there because they're eating unhealthy foods. Okay? So the mechanism that people claim, oh, like gut bacteria can cause heart disease and endotoxin and blah, blah, blah. It's not the bacteria, it's the foods that they're eating that are causing these health outcomes. Okay? And so when you try to take probiotic supplements, or you try to take kefir, or you try to take kimchi to influence gut bacteria, when you try to take soil-based probiotics to influence gut bacteria, you're focusing on the wrong thing. And I'm saying this with assertiveness. I don't mean to sound angry or something, but when you focus on trying to build a healthy gut with all these very expensive treatments and things, you're not really doing anything. You're focusing on the wrong thing because you've been sold a lie by usually even people who are good meaning. A lot of these doctors, they simply don't understand correlation versus causation and healthy user bias. Their treatments with probiotics and things are not based on intervention trials. They're based on these correlation studies that can't establish causation, that correlate healthy gut microbiomes or certain strains of bacteria with better health outcomes. So then they try to get you to supplement with these strains of bacteria that are only there because of certain healthy lifestyle factors. Okay, don't take these probiotics, okay, to influence gut microbes if you want certain health results. You need to identify what lifestyle practices, what nutritional practices are causing the problems you're trying to solve, and address those directly, which is why I said elimination diets are usually what people are needing, okay? But no, people want to overthink things and be infatuated with all this mechanistic jargon. And the more that I've learned about science, the more I've realized a lot of these overcomplicated ideas and things we have, like polyphenols and all these other things, they're overblown. And a lot of it is definitely to drive the billion-dollar supplement industry. And functional medicine's all over it. They love this shit. So we need causal evidence, intervention trials to establish a causal link. A large majority of intervention trials on probiotics show no substantial benefits. And generally, people who have diseases associated with the digestive system and autoimmunity, They get worse when they eat more naturally occurring prebiotic fiber in their diet. This is why the carnivore diet is so popular. It's not because it's a fad, and I mean it is kind of like a fad now, you could say. It's a very trendy thing. But people get better on it because they're removing foods that they're sensitive to. And of course there's an alternative hypothesis where people that are plant-based, like Goji Man or whatever, try to say that you're just removing the symptoms by removing the food allergy or whatever. But if you want to fix a food allergy, then you need to fix the gut microbiome. And then they'll sell you a stool test, and they'll try to sell you their probiotic supplements. And who knows, maybe that shit will work, but 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. Didn't work for me for the 2 years I was wasting all this money on. And I did a lot of soil-based probiotics as well, and prebiotics. And I said all this in the last video, but I'm going to say it again. So, yeah, most of the intervention trials I've seen on probiotics show no substantial benefit. And we're talking about probiotics that have been associated with better health outcomes. They show no benefits in intervention trials. And if I'm wrong, send me intervention trials so I can see evidence, so I don't just spout crap out my ass, okay? But I need to see evidence. That's why I ask people for intervention trials. Generally, people who have disease associated with these, yeah, they go on an elimination diet. They remove the problem entirely. Read the book, Fiber Menace, okay? Read that book. So people do worse when they eat more prebiotic fiber, and people get better when they remove it. So people with digestive problems, Crohn's disease, SIBO, irritable bowel syndrome, and I had psoriasis, people with lupus, and all these things that people think if you eat cornucopia of fruits and vegetables and phytonutrients, and you eat probiotics and stuff, it's supposed to magically help these people with these problems, but it doesn't. They get worse. And a lot of people actually get outbreaks more when they introduce probiotics, which is weird. And anecdotes on prebiotics and probiotic supplements generally reflect this as well. Because of all these things, it seems that the gut microbiome itself does not have an actual causal relationship with health outcomes. If the gut microbiome doesn't cause health outcomes, then why exactly would you spend your time, money, and energy trying to influence your health by changing your gut microbiome? So you spend all this time trying to change your gut microbiome with kefir, with kimchi, with probiotic supplements, with prebiotic supplements. It doesn't matter. You're trying to change your gut microbiome to change your health outcomes. But the problem is, gut microbiome itself does not change health outcomes. It's an association. That's why people generally, they're on this long spinning wheel. They're a rat in a spinning wheel getting nowhere because they're focusing on the wrong thing. And I did the same shit for about 2 years till I realized I was barking up the wrong tree. But a lot of people don't realize it because we got all these experts that are all science-based, and I have an MD and I'm a functional medicine practitioner and all this stuff. No, you're not going to go anywhere. It's a lot simpler than that. But people don't want to go on an elimination diet. Oh no, I have to eat all my foods I'm addicted to. Well, good. I mean, not good, actually. Have fun with that. So using soil-based probiotics, your intention is to grow beneficial bacteria in your intestine, or kefir or whatever. But if there aren't any real clinical benefits to these probiotics or to, then what's the point? Even if your intention is to add probiotics from kefir or whole foods, if probiotics themselves and the gut microbiome in general has no causal link, like we don't even know what a healthy microbiome actually is. We just think we do. We assume that. Well, what's the point in all that then? Which is why I ask for intervention trials, because people always say that there's good evidence for these probiotics and this and that, mostly these health gurus and shit. And so intervention trials can provide causal evidence. If I saw good intervention trials for any of these modalities that actually showed a significant benefit and is not like just like a minuscule percentage, then it would change my perspective a little bit. So I'm going to leave it at that. Post your intervention trials down below, anybody who's watching this and thinks I'm full of crap. And let me know if you need any more clarification or you have any other questions, and I'll be happy to make this a little bit more easy to digest, even more than I already have tried to. And I apologize because it's very complicated, I suppose, and it's mostly complicated because it's actually extremely simple, and it's been overcomplicated by fools who want to use correlation studies to show causation, usually because they have to sell their gut book and their gut consultations. And it's like, you'll be taking these probiotics and thinking you're getting better for such a long time because you think, oh, this like SIBO and this health problem I'm dealing with is so serious and it's so hardcore, and it takes a lot of time to heal my gut because I spent a whole lifetime ruining my health. So that means I need to spend a whole lifetime fixing my health now. No, that's not true. Within 7 days, if you follow the right diet and you do eliminate the right foods, you won't even need supplements anymore, and you'll be right back on track. But nope, you've got to like go down the hard road of like making these charlatans rich. Anyway, that's my little rant. So let me know in the comments and everything. Send me intervention trials. Hope this has helped. Sorry if I sound angry. I'll talk to y'all next time.